It is. This is a fairly easy unit. We're going to do reflections, rotations, translations, and I think we might cover a little bit of dilations. But remember, we did dilations before when I went to Disney last time. So we have covered part of this before. But all we're doing in this is moving a figure from one area to another. So we're going to flip it 4 ways. We're going to flip it across the x-axis, y-axis, y equals x, and y equals negative x. When you flip it across the x-axis, you keep your x value the same, and all you do is change the sign of your y value. So did everybody in the video write down their coordinates for t, r, and y? Okay, so what are the coordinates for t? Okay, what are the coordinates for r?
3, and 4.
And y? Okay, so then when you reflect it, and remember we're going across the x-axis, so that's down here. This is your x, this is your y. Your x value of your t stays the same, but your y turns negative. So it's going to go from negative 1 to 2 to negative 1 to negative 2. So left 1, down 2. And we call that t prime. Did everybody understand that part of the video?
Yes.
Fantastic. And then for r, it's still going to be 3, but what does your y value change to? Negative 4. Awesome. And that's going to be r prime. And then the last one, it's 2 and negative 2. And that's going to be called y prime. Dun, 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 dun. That's the mirror image if I could draw a straight line. That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay, so now the y-axis. When we flipped it across the x-axis, we changed our y value. So what are we going to change when we flip it across the y-axis? Your x value. So let's write this down again. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. So we're doing the same image every time. Does everybody have that? So now we're changing the sign of our x. So instead of negative 1 for t, what's our t prime going to become? 1. And then our y value stays the same. Our r value, what's our coordinate going to be? Negative 3, 4. All right, our y value is going to become? Negative 2, 2. Awesome.
So you're just doing it opposite inflation.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Okay, so now we need to label it. So 1, 2, you go right 1, up 2. What is that coordinate going to be called? It's not t anymore. What is it? T prime. Take a point. All right, what is our, where, meow, meow, meow. You're going to go left, 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4. What is this going to be called? R prime. Take a point. And our final one, how am I going to plot that? How do I get to that, y'all? How do I plot negative 2, 2? Over is not a direction. Left 2, up 2. And that's y prime. That was painful, so no one gets a point. Does anybody have any questions? We're okay so far?
That's easy. That's better than easy, like you said.
Who turned the lights off? Miss Price did? Okay. I'm not mad. I just thought I left them on and then I thought I was going crazy. Alright, are we ready for y equals x? So both of these, you just swap the sign. They're basic movements across one axis for another. But who can tell me what the line y equals x looks like? Who remembers that from algebra? Because that's not an axis now. What does y equal x look like?
Ooh. Is it? Why are you still looking at me? Is it what I was about to say? No. Yes, Pythagorean theorem? No. Okay.
It is a straight line, but how does it look? Mm. All right, what's your y-intercept of, well, what is slope-intercept form? Fantastic. And that's not Pythagorean theorem.
I know.
So B is your y-intercept, right? When it's y equals x, do we have a y-intercept? So someone answer.
No.
So what is your y-intercept? 0. Take a point. Jesus, take the wheel. Okay, what's your slope of y equals x? What number's in front of x, y'all? 1. So it's a positive. So you go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1. Yes, we should all know that. All right, so draw this line. Yep. All right, so now what we're going to do this time is we're going to flip it across this line. But it says right here, instead of swapping the signs, what do we do? You swap the x and y. Thank you. Take a point.
That's what I said.
Yeah, okay.
Numbers.
Okay.
Can I take a point?
Sure.
Is that like
Did you just ask if it's illegal? Are there geometry police?
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
Most no teachers are.
Einstein.
A lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
Okay, so we swap it. So instead of -1, 2, it's going to become 2, -1.
Whoa.
That's it.
Illegal.
Instead of 3, 4, what does it become?
4 degrees.
And instead of 2, 2, what does it become? Fantastic.
And freaking fast.
So then you go right 2, down 1, and what does that become? Instead of t, it is t prime.
I have a question. Why would I do this stuff like white?
Because it's just telling you to reflect across y equals x.
Okay.
So basically, like, all we have to remember from this is, like, the reflection of x.
The rules.
The rule, yeah.
Yep. I know. All right, so then you go right 1, 2, 3, 4, down. Oh, ham sandwich, Blair. Up 1, 2, 3. And instead of r, what does that become?
R prime.
Awesome. And then 2, 2 stays the same, but what does it become now? Y prime. That's it. That's all I need. Are we ready for our last one? And then homework?
Okay, so I'm ready. Hey, Miss Asbury. What is that right? That's 4, 4, 3? That, the R1, the R prime. That's 4, 3, R prime. 4, 3. I'm going to see. Okay, I got it. I'm good.
Okay, so the last one is y equals -x. So what is that line going to look like?
It's going to go this way.
What's the y-intercept of y equals -x? 0. Take a point. Hallelujah. And what's the slope? What number's in front of x? -1. So I'm going to go up and to the left, 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 down and to the right. You know, if y'all didn't sing or talk so much or listen to music, you would understand so much more.
Well, I'm just understanding.
I'm not talking to you, boo-boo. So that's our line for y equals x, and we're reflecting it across that. Now this time, instead of them just swapping places, what also happens? The signs change to, it turns negative. Great. So if it's already negative, what's it going to become? Positive. So it swaps and it changes signs. So what is my new coordinate for t prime going to be?
2, 1.
Negative 2, 1. Because they swap places and they change signs. So positive 2 becomes negative 2. Negative 1 becomes positive 1.
Okay.
So what's my r prime going to become? Negative 4, negative 3. Remember, you got to swap the places. And what does my y prime become? Awesome. Let's graph that. Make sure you label it correctly. Holy ham sandwich, it's hot in here. It doesn't. But thank you. Hey, mister, you can't have drinks in my room anymore. Your little slushy drinks that you bring in? Spilled one on Friday. Yeah, and you didn't clean it up. And you didn't tell me. And as I was leaving to go home, I had to clean it up. Okay. All right, does anybody have any questions? Do you think you can handle your homework?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're going to do for your homework is you're going to create 2 beginning images. So you're going to create, you can make it a triangle, you can make it a square. I want them to be 2 different things or at least look somewhat different. So we're going to write it on page 62. So 61, which is on the back of page 60, is where we're going to glue down our foldable from today. On the right over here is going to be 62. And this is Reflections homework. Those. What? 60? Yeah. Yes, that's 60. And then 61 is on the back. And then 62 is on the right. Yep. Look at you go, mister.
What page did you say this was?
61. This is what my notebook looks like. Right here is going to go this. And then right here is my homework. Alright, so I want you to write down the instructions as well on your handy dandy notebook.
Thank you.
So you're going to create 2 base images on a coordinate plane. I don't care what they look like, but they cannot look like this one. No. It can be a square, it can be a rectangle, it can be a triangle, it can be a circle, it could be a hippopotamus, don't care. How can we do a circle? Is that what you said?
Who asked that question?
Okay. Alright, so if I wanted to do these, you cannot do this. A, B, C, D. I would have to list the coordinates for A, and then I would have to reflect it across the x-axis. So everything would have to flip this way. And then I would have to reflect it across the y-axis. and then across y equals x, and across y equals negative x. Does everybody understand? So you're basically going to make the charts that we just did here for each one, because not only do I want to see your picture, I want to see the new coordinates. So you must show me the new coordinates. Does everybody understand? Do we need to write down to write the new coordinates? Let's write it down.
Yes, can we put this-
Can we kind of draw a chart like that?
Yeah,
So we just-
whatever makes you happy.
That's it.
So why don't you go ahead and draw your two base images now before you leave me so that we can check it in case we need to. Does everybody understand? So let's go ahead and draw now before you leave me. And then I'll come around and check if you want me to.